Black Lives Matter. If you live in Georgia, please plan on voting in the Senate runoff races. And if you, like Senda and I, live in a place where COVID is fairly rampant, please stay home as much as possible and wear a mask when going out. She's a Super Geek is a proud member of the Misdirected Mark Network. Episode 146 is brought to you by our patrons: Jared Rasher, Troy Pickleman, Mimosa Vendetta, Robin Gould, GM Gerrymander, Richard Kreutz Landry, Eric Bontz, Chris Crouch, Bill Carter, and John Arcadian.
He's a rock and roll play baby, and she throws a natural 20 crazy. She's a rock and roll play baby, and she's nothing near the normal and maybe I'm in love.
You're listening to episode 146 of She's a Super Geek, the actual play RPG podcast highlighting women as GMs. Hello, everyone. I'm Andy. And on our episode today, my co-host Senda and I are joined once again by Miriam Ahmed and Ash Kreider to play through Ash's upcoming game, Our Traveling Home. Well, I mean, the game's written. By upcoming, I mean upcoming on Kickstarter, probably early in the new year. When we last left our little misfit family, they were resting in the sitting room after a lovely meal. Please don't drink me.
It doesn't go well.
I'm not gonna do it.
I'm just thinking about it.
Yeah.
And suddenly oranges appear in the daily diet for a couple of days.
Right.
So our last game that we're going to play in Act 1, we're doing an abridged version here, is Budding Romance. So this is for Aaron and Shard. You've been alone for so long that you've convinced yourself that you never wanted romance. How does something unexpected make you realize that maybe you do want something more after all? So the rest of the family is either not present or is completely occupied with something else. What is the situation, and why are the two of you not involved?
Mimosas.
Can we say maybe this is the same night, and, like, Aaron maybe got up to get something from the kitchen, and, like, Lament and Vixel is being drunk and Lament finds...
No, stop it!
Vixel,
Lament is, like, popping the bubbles. And, like,
Yes.
they float by.
And I'm talking about the various cocktails now that I have ideas.
Yes. And I don't know if they're real cocktails or if you're just making it up or whatever, but I'm just kind of floaty and bubbly and, happy.
I love it. So Shard follows you into the kitchen to get something.
Blowing bubbles out of my window, chewing bubble gum and blowing big bubbles, getting rid of all of my troubles, watching the tadpoles glubble glubble in the puddle. Bop.
Great. So that's kind of happening in the next room.
I love that so much.
Apparently nobody else knows that song. Never mind.
I was thinking of the NSYNC bop song. I forget, it was like something bop. And then there's, never mind.
Yeah, sorry. I don't know.
nothing.
So, an unexpected spark. Each of us we're going to take turns asking questions for the other player to answer. Each player should ask 2. There's a list of 6 questions. I'm going to throw this at you, Senda, since Shard followed Aaron into the kitchen here. Why don't you ask the first question?
I have a question in terms of how this game goes. So, do we just ask the questions and then describe, or do we play any of this out, or like, what is we ask the player the question and then just see what happens?
Yes.
Okay.
I'm borrowing heavy from the structure of Stewpot, which kind of just leaves it open to however the players want to play it. So I figured we'd kind of go back and forth between describing things and working these questions into our description. Okay. But, I mean, whatever you want to...
I just wanted to check before I jumped in on this one. Okay, so I walk into the kitchen and you're reaching for something like maybe like a plate on a high shelf or something like that, or like on a shelf that for dessert. I don't know.
I think I got some tea and I'm trying to get like a teacup down, like off of a shelf.
But I walk in and I see that you're having some trouble, like, grabbing the handle of the mug.
Yeah, it's been a long day and I'm tired, and it's just like...
It's so much work. And, like, I know you'll get it eventually, but, like, I think I'm just gonna come up beside you and also grab the handle so that our hands are actually touching on the handle and or potentially going through each other, depending on how you want to play that.
No, I think it's perfect. I think you're like you get your hand on the handle right as I finally
Oh.
manage to make my hand
Yes.
solid. And so you actually do touch my hand.
Yes. Good. I like that
Yeah.
very, very much. And I think that there's just like that moment there where like our hands are touching on the mug before either of us have actually said anything. The question is if you prolong the contact or awkwardly pull away or if you say anything.
I absolutely do not say anything. I don't even think that Aaron has like fully acknowledged their feelings to themselves. So they're like they freeze, like, because they're like but then they're like, well, I can't pull away because then they'll because then they'll think that, but then they're like, wait, why do I not want them to think that? And you know, like it's very like it's very deer in the headlights.
Yeah, so I think that I just like with your hand still on the mug, pull the mug down and we just put it down on the counter together, and then I'll let go of it.
Thank you.
Yeah, sorry, I know it's been a long day, and
Yeah, I mean, I was definitely having trouble, so,
yeah,
thanks.
of course, absolutely. Yeah,
If Aaron could be blushing at this point, they would be. They're a little bit glad that, like, the lighting situation is such that they're, like, definitely more, like, transparent right now, and so maybe that's, like, less obvious. There's that, like, horrible, awkward silence where both of you are like,
yeah,
I need
just
to say
like
a thing.
staring at each other, like,
I'm just trying to think of how to do this one. Aaron finally says, I never realized before, but like I never realized this before, but it was really fun listening to you and Lamette tell stories from when you're in school. You're really funny.
no. I mean, hardly. That's not sure. Yeah, I know. I mean, I know that I know it's. You don't have to tease me about it.
No, I wasn't. I was being serious.
You
Really enjoyed listening.
really?
Yeah.
I mean, nobody's really nobody's really wanted to hear that kind of thing from me for a long time. Like, I just kind of lost touch with most of those people. It was all a really long time ago, but I mean, I guess the reasons are starting to seem kind of silly now. But yeah, I'm glad you enjoyed it.
I did.
So did you go to school?
No, because going to school would have required me to associate with people who were socially inferior. So I had tutors who were mostly terrible.
Yes, you've been pretty isolated too.
I came from a pretty rich family and the oldest, and so I was expected to take over the family business and, didn't have time to, socialize. Or at least that's what my mother always said. So, sorry. Didn't mean to drag the conversation down there.
You didn't. Sorry.
What are we gonna do? I know. I mean, I suggested that you should go first, but that's the screw it. We're going full rom-com.
This is the short version.
Write it like you stole it.
Yeah, we're going full rom-com. Vixel, if this is cool with you, there's being gassy is a new experience for you. I think Lamette does something and you like literally cause a small explosion in the next room.
Yeah.
Awesome.
The scrub brush found me. Nope.
The scrub
Nope.
was like,
Nope.
hey, water
Yeah.
friend.
Scuba. Oh my gosh.
And it's one of those things like I've been letting like bubbles go, like, and so those are fine to pop, but then he like pops pops me, And like I
Yeah.
rain down in a little puddle. And
Yes.
the pop sounds like an explosion.
Okay.
Aaron, like, actually, like, was so, like, they, like, jump, like, lose their balance, and, like, just, like, fall forward. And of course, there's this, like, moment of, like, you know, like, horrible mental calculus of, would it be better or worse to fall
Right.
through them? And they're like, no, that would be weird. I don't want to fall through Shard. So they like, fall on
Yep.
Shard.
Who catches them handle gracefully, because that's who Shard is. Like, just gracefully catches you for a moment. Oh, does the thing where they just tilt your chin up to look at their face for a second.
Yes.
Why are you so tall?
I don't know. I just decided I was tall because it was useful in that moment.
Yes.
Oh, God, I need to say something really suave. That's not a thing I'm good at. Like, me personally, Senda, I'm not good at being suave.
I mean, maybe it's just something really simple. Like,
Oh,
it's okay,
yeah,
I've got you.
That's it. That's all we need. It's okay, I've got you.
Scrub brush.
And there's, like, the long moment of, like, neither of us wants to end this, but Aaron finally, like, is like, I think we need to rescue Vixel.
There's crashing and liquidy sounds from the other room.
And I think that's
Yeah.
that's what ends the interlude, is the
Yeah.
need to intervene to
Yes. I love it.
So that's how it ends. How do we both act when the moment is over?
I think that you catch me as we go into the other room to intervene with this scrub brush situation. I think that you actually catch me looking at you more. Like, just like watching you. Like, it's hard for me to not watch you.
Yeah, and I think Aaron is just, like, a bit more quiet and a bit more thoughtful. What detail or moment from this conversation do you find yourself thinking about for the next few days?
I think I actually find myself thinking about kind of their childhood experience or growing up experience, because I think that it tracks more closely with mine than I ever assumed it would, right? That it's suddenly something that I really understand, and another person who has similar experiences to me, which I just didn't expect.
I think for Aaron, they've gotten kind of used to thinking of, like, bodies and, like, touching things as being massively frustrating. So they're like, oh, I touched a person and it was nice.
Oh,
Boy, that has some feels in the pandemic right now, too.
I know. I just punched myself in the pandemic
Yeah.
feels. Whew.
yeah. Oh boy.
Okay. Lastly, how do you convince yourself that this is an impossible attraction and attempt to bury these feelings?
I'm convinced that you're going to find the cure for your curse, and then you'll leave and go have the life that you always wanted and were meant to have. So this is some sort of temporary situation. I shouldn't get too attached.
Oh no! And it's exactly that from Aaron's perspective.
Oh, no.
Like Shard is, like, beautiful and, like, powerful and has been alive, like, a super long time. There's no way that they can possibly be interested in me.
Oh no.
They're just very
Yep, I love
charismatic,
that.
you know? You misread the whole
Yeah.
situation.
Oh,
Fantastic. All right. Well, I definitely shared a painful truth about myself to the wizard, and I learned it was okay to be vulnerable with them.
yeah. I think I also shared a painful truth, and I think I actually learned that I can still care about people, even though they may not live as long as me or last, right?
So that is Act 1. This is something where I'm going to suggest that we mostly just montage this.
Sure.
War is approaching and the enemy has caught your scent. The wizard can't keep running forever. You need to buy yourself some space by confronting the enemy on their turf. What do you do? How do you all work together? And when you narrowly escape the enemy's clutches, what does it cost you? So this game is for everyone. If anyone hasn't hit your start mark for Act 1, you will need to incorporate it into this game. So firstly, why do we decide that we need to confront the enemy directly, and what are we hoping to accomplish?
I mean, have we been running from them?
I think so. Yeah,
Yeah.
I think that's why the house moves around
Yeah.
the wilds in the first place. Or at least that's why, like, for a while, a big part of the reason why it's been traveling around.
As I'm starting to maybe not be so dead-eyed and kind of like comatose almost in terms of just feeling and everything, that maybe I recall some sort of like thing that the Wizards College might have that might get my magic back. So I'm very motivated to directly confront them.
That's great. Do you say anything about this, or do you just, like, I think we should confront them and keep that part to yourself?
I think I definitely frame it in another way of like we can't keep running and the forest and like I think the only way to make sure you keep your part of the bargain and you keep your part of the bargain is we need to go to the Magic College. That's where all the answers will be.
Mm-hmm.
That's fair. Yeah.
Yeah, because we've been looking for a new lake for so long.
Yeah.
We've obviously run out of places to look.
Yeah.
There's so many artifacts that we don't even know completely. We can't appreciate it fully. And maybe there might be something that would work perfectly as a new home.
Cool. So that answers whose idea it is. Is the wizard enthusiastic about the idea or reluctant?
I think I'm reluctant. I think I'm reluctant for reasons both personal and concern that we might get ourselves into more trouble than we can get out of.
So what ultimately convinces you to go along with the idea?
I haven't had an instance where I've really given over to the wolf side of me in a while. Like, Erin hasn't seen it yet. But I also know that, like, there's going to be a time when that happens again. And it's getting closer and closer every time about me trying to pull back from that place. So I think that I have a certain drive actually to end the pact. And this might be the way to do it.
For the purposes of this game, the demon will play the enemy, the Supreme Magus.
Theris. Which makes
Theris,
sense because they
yes,
have to
thank you.
leave the house. And at this point,
Yes.
Yeah.
Vixel can't.
All right, so we're going to play through the following prompts in order after answering the prompts questions. And again, we're just briefly playing out a small scene. One person in the scene will roll 2d6 to determine basically how it goes. PBTA rules for success apply. And if something goes awry or we need to introduce a complication, it's narrated by a player in the next scene, a player not in the scene, and then we immediately proceed to the next prompt. So the first prompt is going to the enemy's place of power. The cursed and the wizard go to the enemy's place of power to confront them. Does the monster go with them, or do they go with just the two of them?
I feel like the monster would go, but maybe not directly in that chamber. It's kind of like, you be the distraction, I will go elsewhere.
I love
Yeah.
that. Yeah, so we're there as the, like, big flashy distraction and kind of coming along behind us.
Yeah,
Yep. Yeah.
yeah, because I've been stripped of my powers and I can't be there. I will be smushed.
But also, they can't detect you because all of their
you're not
security
magic
is about,
anymore.
magical creatures.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so we get you past the magic security, but then, like, once you're in, like, a lot of the magical defense spells don't work on you because you don't have magic.
yeah,
Cool.
and they can't imagine anyone not magical being in those areas.
Yeah, great. So what precautions do we take to ensure that we arrive safely? Do we wear disguises, travel through the sewers, or other hidden routes? So how do we disguise ourselves as normal people? Do we disguise ourselves as other wizards?
I think we should disguise ourselves as, like, students of the college.
I go as the parent.
Oh,
Is
yeah, prospective
oh,
students.
fun.
I think Shard has to enchant a cloak
Yeah,
for
obviously.
Aaron so that it will stay on them.
Oh,
I think that's the easiest way of disguising Aaron as
And a big
Yep.
hat.
mostly like let's hide the fact that light mostly goes right through them.
yeah,
But-
and like a big hat or like a
Yeah.
hood situation. Yep.
Yep.
That's a thing. Yep.
How do we we kind of split off, like, how do we confront the enemy? Do we just, like, straight up, like, walk to Supreme Magus Theris's office?
I kind of feel like we do. I feel like we're just going to go right there and, like, because at this point, like, our purpose is to be a distraction, maybe?
What do you say to the Supreme Magus when you're, when we're shown into their presence?
Can I establish one thing?
Yes.
They are in a swivel desk chair that's turned away from you.
Of course.
Of course they are. So I feel like Shard would definitely do the talking. So what do you say when you're shown into their presence?
It doesn't even matter to me that Supreme Magus Theris is not looking at me. I basically just grab the clasp of my cloak that makes me look like a prospective student and pull it off with a swirl, revealing, of course, that it is I, Shard, in all of my glory. And I just pull it off and I cast it aside and it just falls to the floor.
Okay. I think you definitely need to be the one to roll to see how this goes.
Okay. And then I say to the Supreme Magus, tell me what you have done with the water spirits of this world. Yeah, that's where we're going to go.
Yep. So roll 2d6.
Yay! I came prepared.
Oh, and I forgot to mention you can add 1 up to +3 for each mark that you've hit so far in Act 1.
Oh, wow. Well, if I can add 3, that makes it a 13 because I rolled a 10.
Whoa.
Right?
Fantastic. So you have your grand dramatic moment.
I knew it was going to work. I never doubted for a moment.
That's amazing. All right, so moving to the next prompt. While the cursed confronts the enemy directly.
I was ready for a really dramatic moment. Okay.
Oh, you were going to turn around in your swivel chair.
It's okay.
I mean, we're definitely going to get back to that in just a sec. I feel like because Shard got a 13, I feel like they deserve a dramatic smash cut.
That's fair.
Yes.
While the cursed confronts the enemy directly, the demon uses the distraction to secure the home against attack.
Demon?
Yeah, whoever, so in this case, no one stayed behind to help. So I guess real quickly, what magic do you use to secure the home while everybody is gone?
Water magic?
You're so descriptive.
I know, right? We are on a small cruise ship looking thing that sails in the water, which means we're actually fairly trackable with the enzymes we leave behind. So I am working on a more solid encasement of water that won't leave a trail behind. I think that is our best bet. And we'll also speed up the house.
And I think before we cut back over to the confrontation in the office, real quick, Lament, are you actually being sensible in this situation?
No, because I am very much out for myself here, and partly because I did not hit the mark I needed to hit. I am being incredibly selfish. So I am looking exactly for, instead of looking like there might be something that could actually help the Bact or actually help Vixel and Shard, I'm really looking for that like orb of power or something of that sort that's supposed to essentially give someone magical abilities back.
Of course you are. That's fantastic. So I can see you just like in like artifact storage, just like absolutely like bull in a china shop.
Mm-hmm. It's like I'm just going through things and flinging them. And I imagine that maybe some of the things are flung not too delicately because it doesn't matter. Like I'm so close to the goal.
Yeah.
It's the flinging that might set off alarms if it does.
Cool. That's gonna set the stage for potentially something could go wrong in this last prompt. The trap is sprung. Whatever your hope for the confrontation, the enemy was prepared for something like this. They try to take the cursed hostage, but are stopped by the wizard. So I think, Supreme Magus, we're going to cut back over to you and your super dramatic response that you were just about to
planning.
make.
Okay. Now rotate slowly. Andy is not facing us in a swivel chair. I feel like I have to narrate this. And something else is... Oh, there's a slow clap.
Congratulations, Shard. How did you figure it out?
Isn't it obvious? At the point at which not a single water demon is left in this world? And you? The master of demons? Surrounded by water?
Oh, Shard.
This island has always been surrounded by water.
Shard. This island has always been surrounded by water.
Definition of the word island, but let's keep moving.
You, as normal, are very good at the one thing, but you do not see the big picture. And I think from there's like this beam of light that surrounds Aaron and entraps them.
Dun dun dun.
We are at war, Shard. And wouldn't you know it, you're the one who can lead us to victory.
Only I'm not going to.
Oh, if you want your little ghost friend here to live, I believe you are.
Aaron, incidentally, is totally, because we're leaning into this, is totally doing the "don't do it." I think the spell prevents them from saying anything like out loud. Like it's pulled them actually, like their cloak flutters to the floor because it pulls them like all the way, so they're just like barely visible, but they're like, oh. You know, like they're like waving their hands and mouthing
Mouthing
like,
it,
don't
yeah.
do it.
Yeah. There's nothing that you could do that would make me want to join you. So at this point, Shard brings.
I'll never join you.
I'll never join you. No, I know. I'm totally having a Star Wars moment here. He brings his hands up from the floor, and what happens is basically like the water that is surrounding and underneath and all around this island that the wizard school is on, just off the coast, comes up through the cracks between the stones and tiles of the floor, and it's like there's like more and more and more of it, and they're just like they're clearly like stranding, right? There's so much coming up, and it's all currently in like little tendrils and like fingers of water. It's not just like filling the room in a flood or something like that, right? They're like actually controlled and kind of look the way that Vixel looks when they're kind of the liquid state, but doing things like using tendrils to wrap around dishes and that kind of stuff. But this time it's just Shard making normal seawater into this thing, and she just pushes all of it forward at the Supreme Magus, and at the same time, like, wraps a ball of it around where Aaron is to cut the light of the trap off. Yep, that's what happens.
Cool. I feel like I want you to roll, but what we're also tying in is I feel like if you fail, it's not actually you failing, it's Lament fucking everything up.
I love that.
Mm-hmm.
By smashing a bunch of magical artifacts, like, because of
And
course
that we don't know what
the
they do.
storeroom.
Yes.
Of course, the storeroom is like directly below
Of course it is.
Supreme Magus's office, right?
Yeah.
Like it's right.
And there are no
There's like a
columns,
secret door.
columns of water sticking up through it.
Yeah.
To be clear, no matter what this roll does, I am going to overextend myself in the process of doing this. Just, making sure we're all on that page. Okay.
Yeah.
You want me to roll again? I'll roll again. Let's see what happens. Not so good this time. But I get to add 3?
Yes.
Okay. It is a 9. Oh, no, I'm sorry. Can't add. It's an 8, but that doesn't matter.
It mostly works, but the complication is that Lament is in the room below you. You're pulling water up through
From potions that
Who knows
broke
what
the
I'm pulling
room.
the water up through? What kind of weird magic? That will be lovely.
We forgot to have Vixel roll,
Oh.
so can you just throw me a roll real quick for that?
11. If I add the 2 marks I hit.
Amazing. Okay, great. That means we have all successes, which means the wizard knows the enemy too well to be caught off guard. How did they know what the enemy was going to do, and how did they come prepared to foil the enemy's trap? But most importantly, what do you steal from the enemy as you escape? And I think that is 100% for Lament
definitely
to answer.
Could the wizard have figured out that Lament was going to be probably destroying things, and maybe with all of that, I just want to Emperor's New Groove this, and like with all of that magic, like the Grand Magus, the Supreme Magus gets like turned into a flamingo bat or something?
Temporarily. They'll be back to them. but it's the insult that is more grievous than the actual transformation.
Yes, exactly. In my own office.
Convenient.
I was turned into a
It's like-
mundane flamingo bat.
And because it's like a combination of effects, like they're actually gonna have to spend some time
Exactly.
unraveling it, as opposed to just like snapping their fingers and
back.
being like,
Yep.
"Oh, I'm,
It's just,
I'm
it just,
normally
you
Yeah.
done."
just have to pick apart each spell one at a time. Like, it'll just take the Supreme Magus like a day or two.
Indignant squawk.
It's like when you have to rip 10
Oh,
rows
yeah.
out of, a
Yes.
scarf
Yeah.
and then like redo
Yep.
them. Yeah.
Yes.
But with
I
magic.
love that a lot.
So, Lament, what do you steal? Do you succeed?
I think I succeed in grabbing the Orb of Power, but I don't quite know how exactly it works. And I feel like it works something on the lines of it's actually an Orb of Transference, so for me to get any magic back, I have to use it on someone who willingly will give their powers up. But I don't know that yet.
Okay.
I haven't used it. I haven't
That's-
used it yet.
Oh no, that's I love it. That's fantastic. We make our escape mostly because the Supreme Magus.
It's a flamingo bat.
And everyone's waiting for their command to do, like, they're prepared for a bunch of different things, but they assumed the Supreme Magus would be able to give commands.
Yep.
But they're just squawking furiously.
So is that a yes or no? Or what?
So the only hiccup I'm going to add to this is that our escape is Aaron getting, hopefully they're like substantiated enough that like a giant white wolf snags the back of their shirt and tosses them on her back and like gallops out with giant paws and like eyes that are pure white, just gleaming flames.
You hear Vixel's voice in the back of your head. Don't lose yourself in the power. You may never get yourself back.
Awesome. So I think we're gonna end the scene on when we get back to the home. Do you say anything about it, or like once you've changed back, are you like, we're not talking about this, or like, I'm gonna pretend this didn't happen?
I mean, I actually think that like it's a little bit hard for me to shift back. Like it takes me a little while to like really make all of the fur go away. And so I think that I actually hide for a while. Like I go into my room and I close the door.
Did you grab Lament, or did you just leave Lament there?
No, we got Lament too. Lament grabbed my tail as I went by. I don't know.
Yeah, I feel like initially you come in, it's like, we gotta go, and I'm like, no, I got what I want, leave me be! And you're just like, we're not talking right now, and just grabbed me and ran off and continued.
Scruff of the neck.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is not a conversation.
You didn't get a nice
This
toss
is
onto the
a-
back. You got like an I'm carrying you by the scruff of the neck the whole way back.
Yeah, I got drug.
Like an unruly
Yes.
pup.
Yep.
When Shard finally does come out of their room, there's like a small table that like has been dragged there that wasn't there before, and there's a flower
Aw.
with a note in Aaron's handwriting that just says
Aw.
thank you.
And Shard just picks up the flower and smells it. And then she looks at the note and then she puts them down and then she goes to find Aaron. Let's leave it at that. Act 1!
And then
Hooray!
And that's the end of one. So, visitor from the past. This is going to be maybe a couple days after or whatever. We've spent some time recovering from what happened. Normally, there would be a game about recovering, but we're skipping that in the name of time. You receive an unexpected visit from someone important from your past, someone you almost never expected to see again. Who is it? Where do they find you? And what happens? So, this game is for the demon and 2 other players. The demon will play the visitor. Of the 2 remaining players, one will be the host and the other will be the bystander. The first thing to figure out is which character is going to have someone from their past.
Can it be Dream? Can someone have woken up?
Gosh!
Oh, wow.
Or maybe because Lament's powers have been broken, like her magic is slowly unraveling from like the first spell she
It
cast.
took a while.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh,
I love it.
that's cool.
That's great. Cool. So we're gonna bend the rules because of course we are. You can't read the book because it exists on my hard drive. But I specifically said if at any point like you need to break a rule of the game to like fit the fiction of what you do
Which maybe means that you don't have to wait for me to die or get my abilities to go back to yourself.
Well, so that's going to be the question.
That's the
yes.
left implication.
So I think that both Lament and Shard
Yeah,
are
that's what I was
the
gonna say.
host
Yep.
in this game. Yeah. And that would mean that Andy will be playing the
Mhm.
visitor Dream. I will come in as the awkward bystander.
Oh, that's so good.
Yeah.
Yes.
I'm very
Yes.
excited. I was hoping I would get to do it. I mean, I feel like it's very self-explanatory why you were surprised to see
Yes.
them. So I'll throw this over to Dream. Where does the reunion take place? How do you approach the host? Do you barge in uninvited, approach the home tentatively, or does the scene happen somewhere outside the home?
I don't know. I kind of want it to take place in the home.
Well, Shard made a big splash by showing up out of the wild, so I feel like
It's
that
true,
news
right.
could have traveled.
Yeah, I think that's a good idea. So I think Dream is going to be a she/her.
I think I might have used those pronouns for her.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's kind of what I was thinking.
You were in Wizards College with them, so you are also
Yeah.
a
Right,
wizard.
yes.
Yep.
So you
Be
could just
anything
find
you
them
want.
through
Yeah.
being a wizard. Well, I was just saying, like, that's how you could have found the home.
Oh yeah, I'm a wizard. And maybe I'm a different kind of wizard or something. I don't know. So yeah, I think there's just a knock at the door. Your defenses haven't gone off or anything, like there's just a knock.
So I think are we at the point where we jump into the actual scene? Or are there more things that we need to do? Okay.
Aaron is, I think, doing, like, cleaning something upstairs or, like, otherwise occupied, and they just kind of call down, Shard or Lament, can you get that?
I think that Shard is actually sitting in the same room with Lament and just looks at them. And like they're doing that Deadeye thing again, just to be.
And I feel like so that I've already tried the Orb of Power and apparently it doesn't work, and because I went alone somewhere and had done it and it didn't work. And I'm frustrated and I'm staring at it and I'm like, why isn't this working? And I'm almost like smacking it against the table to kind of,
Right.
or like Etch-a-Sketch shake it.
Right. You're trying to like cast magical spells to understand
Yeah.
it, but you don't have magic anymore.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I go open the door because Lament is just
Frustrated.
Angry at a ball.
doing their thing and don't really know what that's about. They're frequently a little like that still.
Yeah.
So I will go open the door.
Hi, Shard.
Dream? I close the door in your face for a moment, turn my back to the door, and like just stand there and like look at Lament, and then like turn around and look at the door, and then like look at Lament, and then like turn around and look at the door, and then like rip the door open again.
And then you slam it shut again,
You're still
and then you're like,
standing
oh,
there, and I'm like, but all of this is very graceful.
And I stare at Dream and I say, wait, so True Love's kiss worked?
the door's currently, I think, shut, so you're talking to nobody.
No, I open the door again.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, okay. I guess you're surprised to see me.
So I'm come in.
Oh, okay.
You look very good for your age.
Thank you. Have we met?
Oh my
That actually kind of like shuts me up.
I mean, or are you a friend of Shard's? Obviously, I mean, Shard must have told you about me, since you knew I was under a spell.
Do you want to tell her, Shard?
Why don't you sit down?
Okay, hi.
Can I get you
I sit
anything?
down.
Can I tea, coffee?
Yes,
Cakes?
tea.
Everything? Okay.
Yeah.
And like
Okay.
in the kitchen, the teapot puts itself on the stove and like cups come down and like put spoons in themselves. You know, like the stove starts up. but I'm not actually in the kitchen.
Right.
I think some tea biscuits put themselves
Yeah.
on a plate that like
Yes,
floats
that's
out.
This is the best use of magic, by the way.
Obviously.
Tea and snacks.
Obviously.
So.
Good, just lands.
You know what? I think Vixel doesn't even complain because Vixel is just too busy being like, oh shit.
Like, because Vixel has seen the picture.
Uh-huh.
Vixel knows. So Vixel's just like watching from like the stairs or something.
Pixel just wants to know what is happening. Who is this person?
I think the ball just like kind of like rolls out.
So, well, Shard, I'm actually. I mean, I've been looking for you, but I've also been looking for Lament.
No,
I
why
kinda
are
wanted to
you why are
talk
you
to
looking for
both of you?
Why are you looking for Lament? You don't
Well,
you don't need to talk to them. I can pass a message on to them for you if you
Yeah, like what did Lament do?
well, Lament's the one that cursed me.
I mean, cursed is such a big stretch of a word.
No,
Maybe
they
a
absolutely
dest?
did. They did absolutely curse you. It was very terrible of them.
I just want to know why. I mean, I thought we were. Okay, Shard. I have not been awake for that long, and I'm still kind of confused. It's been a long time that I was in that, but the magic started breaking down for some reason, and I was able to sort of gain consciousness again. And then using my own magic, I broke out, and I mean, do you know what? I just
Wait, so
wanna know
you
what
didn't get
happened.
kissed by True Love's kiss?
Why don't you have one of these biscuits? They're really good.
Oh, okay.
You didn't break the curse? The curse... Well, it's not a curse. A curse is a big... I mean, it's more like a test to find the person who truly loves you.
Okay.
It's a barbaric tradition. There's a reason we don't do that anymore.
Well, I don't know if anybody. I mean, I don't know. Maybe somebody did kiss me. If they did, they didn't stick around. But
That's a shame.
no, the magic started waning. I mean, I could feel it in my, astral projection.
And how long ago was that?
Out of character, how long have you been powerless?
I'd say very recently, like within the last couple of months.
Okay.
Yeah, I think I've only been in the home for a couple
Okay.
months, and maybe like that
Yeah.
plus a month or so.
Right. Maybe about 2.5 months ago. I wasn't aware how much time had passed. I tried to go back to to college, of course, and I don't know if you know what's going on over there, but it's not.
Well, good news.
Good.
I don't have to die for things to wear off.
I mean, I guess that's good.
Well, I broke out of the spell. Lament?
Hi.
Hey, Dream. you,
Lament?
yeah, that's
It's good to see you're up and going. I mean, what? It's been a couple of millennia? You look good.
It is. I've been in stasis.
Mm-hmm.
Well, the entire world has completely passed me by and rejuvenated.
Yeah.
Completely.
Good news.
You two have moved on with your entire lives. You are obviously. What happened to you? You're mortal.
Let's just say
I mean,
I decided to take a
do you have
break
to
from
say? I mean-
magic. Voluntary.
it does feel like a comeuppance has come.
Look,
But
Dream, he shouldn't have done that to you, but we did discover that neither of us could wake you up, and
So the good news is true love is waiting out for you over there. Maybe you just needed to wait a
do
couple
you
of
mean
millennia.
you couldn't wake me up. You did the spell.
yeah, they did do the spell.
Well, I was thinking if I spelled you and then I kissed you, it would prove that I was your true love, and then, clearly Shard was not the one who your affections were about. And then after like a couple of days, Shard tried to, and that didn't work either. So,
I
You
couldn't.
both kissed me while I was unconscious.
I was
that's
trying
how
to
true
wake you up.
That's what True Love's Kiss is about, isn't it?
Well, we didn't
It's
want
creepy.
to leave you in stasis for millennia. It's just that you didn't wake up when I kissed you.
And you didn't try to dispel anything?
I can't dispel it. They cast it.
Yeah.
I mean, I tried. It didn't work.
Lynette's never been good at dispelling, but you could have gone to one of the professors. I mean, yeah, they probably would have kicked you out, but you would have deserved that.
Apparently there was
We
something
did.
about the Orb of Power doing something, and I don't know what, and then I kind of forgot about it, and then I kind of remembered it right now.
They couldn't wake you up either. The Supreme Magus couldn't wake you up, so...
Well, it turns out the Supreme Magus has other problems.
Well, right now the Supreme Magus has other problems. They were a flamingo the last time I saw them, so...
Yeah, good story, remember?
I don't know about the flamingo, but they're very evil at this point. I mean, the college is basically turning out soldiers for this war. And they've bound all of the water elementals in the world.
Oh, that's why you couldn't find a new home.
Yeah.
No, don't talk to me. I'm not here.
Oh, no.
No,
they were talking to
I was
me.
talking to Shard.
Oh, I guess I'm not going to get my answers then.
I mean,
What? The why is basically you were stupid, and then you did it well enough that no one else could dispel it.
No, whoa. What? This isn't it me. This isn't that.
Look, you weren't true love, okay? I did everyone a favor just to prove that...
You know what you could have done, Lament? Is talk to me. I could have told you that.
I don't know, you know there was like a gaggle of princesses that had showed up and talked about all these stories of true love's kiss, and it gave me that idea, and blame the princesses, okay? I'm pretty sure Marigold was the biggest instigator of that. That is completely in her court.
Wow.
I
Pin
have
it on
lost-
Marigold. Marigold is already 120. She's dead.
I have lost everything. You literally put my life on pause while the entire world swirled around me. You want to blame a princess who's super dust by now? That's fine, but I think we're done here. And she just gets up to leave.
The only thing I'm going to add is when it comes time to leave, what promise try to extract? Is it never talk to me again?
Ooh, I think I'm going to have a little dramatic moment. Because I love these. I came to find Lament and piece together what happened. I quite honestly assumed something bad had happened. And that I'd been in a healing thing. And now you don't even have your magic. So I can't even take out my anger and frustration on you. I realize that this was decades ago for you, but this is literally yesterday for me. And I never want to see either of you again. I think she's just going to walk out.
At this point, I look very crestfallen, and as you're leaving, I say, I'm sorry.
She doesn't even turn around.
Yeah, I think the last thing that I say is Dream. Just calling out your name.
Now that we have some awkward tension between the bystander, who is Aaron, and the host, I'm gonna say it's really only awkward with Shard.
That's fair.
Because
Because Shard's like, I didn't do
I
nothing.
didn't do anything.
Aaron, like, heard voices and came down and really, like, only caught the end of the conversation. Their impression is that, like, they came in, oh, this is perfect, okay. Where they came in was Shard talking about how, well, you know, of course I kissed you to try and wake you up. And how, like, disappointed they sound that they, like, were not Dream's true love. They're like, oh, of course. Like, they couldn't have feelings for me because they still have feelings for Dream. So when Dream storms out and Shard is like, you know, like, no, don't go or whatever, that's when Aaron is like, oh, I shouldn't be here, and starts to go back up the stairs, and that's when Shard sees Dream kind of fleeing back up the stairs.
I think that Dream's visit clarified that, like, the people in this house right now as motley of a crew as we are people that I actually understand. And there's this weird thing about like, I really thought that Dream was the one, but we were so young, right? We were like 50, and it's been so long. So like, there's this thing where it's like, oh, I've recently remembered what it feels like to connect with another person, and I didn't feel that with Dream this time, as guilty as I felt, even as a bystander to her situation. I think I called out Dream's name as she left, but then the door slammed behind her, and then I hear Erin's footsteps on the stairs and doing that like I'm running to get my stuff kind of sound. And I just mutter like Erin under my breath, and then I go running off after them to stop them on the stairs.
I think they're actually in their room, and they're so mad, like they're so like upset that they're like they only have like a couple things, like maybe two books, like a change of clothing, because mostly they just find clothing extremely frustrating, and like there's a book that they were reading and it's sitting open on their bed and they're trying to like pick it up and they're too frustrated to make it happen.
Yeah, I think I think Shard pauses in the doorway and just looks at them for a moment and like sees the frustration and kind of realizes maybe that something has happened and is just like shrug like, well, I guess she's gone now. I don't have to worry about that situation anymore. Can I help you with that book?
And Erin just looks extremely confused. She was the one that you and Lament always talked about, and you said that you were sad that she wasn't your true love, and I just they're just kind of staring at their feet. I'm too ordinary. I don't belong here. I should go.
Erin, you aren't ordinary in any way whatsoever. You're the most amazing person I've ever met, and I have been alive for longer than I can remember. So, don't say that you're ordinary. And don't say that you don't belong here, because I can't think of anyone else that I would rather have here. Dream was someone that I knew a really long time ago, and my life has moved on a long way since then. So yeah, I have stories. And she's in a lot of them. But I would really like to make some new stories with you. So please don't go.
Okay. And we are explicitly too chicken shit to
so
say
are.
anything more than that, because we are not allowed to express our feelings until the end.
Can I add a little something like after the
please do.
awkward moment?
Yeah.
I kind of knock on the door and I look very crestfallen and I say, today has made me realize I've done I'm starting to regret a lot of things I did. And I want to make sure that I make up in some way, especially since I don't know if I'm getting my magic back. And I just want to say that I've seen the way you both look at each other, and there's a reason why that true love's kiss didn't happen.
And this is the point at which Shard will make some sort of silly joke to break the tension, and then everybody leaves, and...
Well, I mean, I appreciate it, Lament, but I really don't think that we're meant for each other.
It's one of those. Because I can't possibly admit my emotions at this point. We have to save that.
And I feel like it's part of my mark of providing comfort to someone who needs it, of like reassuring.
Yes.
that there's a reason why, as dumb as some of my curses have been, it was this weird blessing in disguise, trying to feel a little less guilty.
I think it is simultaneously exactly what we both need to hear, and also
Yes.
we are not prepared to deal with it. So
Yeah.
I think both of us are like, hey, look, a thing.
Did you want some tea? I started some tea a minute ago, but we didn't end up getting to it. Yeah.
How does the visitor escalate danger to the family once they leave?
She goes to the Supreme Magus.
I was hoping.
Definitely. And this isn't just so that I have to talk to myself at any point. Like that.
Have fun with that.
That's not what I want to do. But I feel like she doesn't have a choice. The college is the only place
perfect.
like she knew as home, and
Yeah. Like, she literally has nothing left.
And there's no one else who's old enough to remember you except the wizards.
Yep. That's exactly what happens.
She plays a maid, she's got me under her spell. She plays a fighter with her eyes set to kill. I play, and I can't look away. Yeah. She takes
we hope you enjoyed episode 146 of She's a Super Geek. If you liked what you heard, please go ahead and follow Miriam on Twitter at media_junkie to keep up with their future projects. And Ash at Wundergeek, WUNDERGEEK, to find out when our traveling home is going to come onto Kickstarter. Our theme song is Rock and Roll Play Baby by Kieran Strange. You can find music, tour dates, and merchandise online, kieranstrange.com, or on Twitter at Kieran Strange.